Good morning, folks. How we doing? Give me a second. Get synced up here, and we'll get going on Thursday. Today's Thursday. There we go. It's Thursday. How's everybody doing this morning? Golden Saucer, where's Uncle John? I am an uncle to a few kids, a few ruffians there. Let me see here. Just got the Crip Walk. That's right, James. Okay, here we go. We are 5x5. Looks like everything's good to go. Quickly, for those that have been asking, no, I don't dry my laundry out here in the office. When I said I'm cheap, son, I'm cheap. I got shop lights mounted to the wall, and I have a bed sheet over top of them to work as a softbox, because that's how I roll. So now you know. All right, and the rig outside is strapped to a trampoline. Good morning. Mame's Legacy, it looks like you were the first one here this morning, ma'am. I appreciate you being here as a moderator. And for those that don't know, Mame's Legacy also has an awesome YouTube channel. And I'm pretty convinced that she's a moonshiner, but she will not admit it. Thank you, Fast Draw Supplies, for the donated coffee this morning. Thank you very much. Great value again. I'm trying to burn through some great value we got here. Let's see who is in the house. Mojo Man, I see you. How you doing, brother? See you, Mojo. Sassy is in the house. Blaine. Patriot Girl Prepper. I need to get my eyes checked, son. JR. Leslie. Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to engineer your own stuff. Plus, again, I'm cheap. Kelly Rudolph, how you doing? Here we go. We're moving. Bamagen, good morning. I'm trying here. Slow chat's on. Tasha, saw you have a migraine. I hate to hear it. Russell the Muscle. James, how you doing, brother? Tamara, Nana P, thank you for being here, and also to the rest of the moderators. So I've got this feeling, and we'll get into this in a few minutes, but I watched the chat replay yesterday, and somebody said something that stood out. And we're going to talk about it again shortly, but I was up at 1:30 still last night out on my back deck smoking. There are no bees at night here, and I was out there smoking a cigar, still thinking about it. So we're going to talk about that. First, we need to talk about the matter at hand, do we not? C2, thank you for that. C2 is stacked and packed in Texas. I don't blame you in Texas. I really don't, especially if you're in a border town. So this intel is down below. It's the Royal Marines Commandos Force is what I use as the thumbnail art today, okay? But it's labeled U.S. War Games. And we actually just got done with some war games. The U.S. Marine Corps and, again, the Royal Marine Commandos trained for several months in the Mojave Desert. And then they had a 5-day exercise. It was like a simulated battle, between the two forces who could adapt, things like this. And the U.S. Marine Corps, unfortunately, did not even make it through the 5 days before they officially asked for a reset of the board. They were bested in less than 5 days. Apparently, according to the intel, they got flanked, their supply line was smashed, and they were done in 5 days. The Marine Corps, folks. Yeah, I know. Salty says WTAF. I know. And so I wanted to talk about that this morning because I do believe, we've talked about this previously, but you veterans know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. The military is not what it was 20 years ago. Tucker Carlson, back on March the 27th, called the Pentagon a Yale faculty lounge. They've become obsessed with wokeness, which we will explain in a minute. Some people are asking what woke is. Independent Marine, I agree. He says incompetent leadership. I don't necessarily believe this is on the soldiers. Supply lines and the flank, that is strategy 101. There is absolutely no way that you do not defend that in a wartime situation, simulated or not. You got to watch the flank and protect the supply line. This is basic stuff. And they did not do it. They got caught with their pants down. So it is definitely, in my opinion, on the leadership. I don't know who was in charge in said operation. I didn't dig beyond the intel, but it is not very good to know that in less than 5 days, and this is not to slight, the British, but in less than 5 days, what many, I don't know, y'all let me know. I've always heard that the Marine Corps is the best we have, of the branches. I'm an Army guy myself. OD Green Crowd, what's up? I'm an Army brat, not an Army veteran, just so you know. But you'll often hear the Marine Corps the toughest that we have. So to get bested in less than 5 days, not a good sign. And Rangers lead the way. I figure some of the veterans are going to have this conversation this morning. Brother, watch that soldier here, the prepping preacher. Understood. Army brat too. Tasha gets it. So, everybody going all the way back to actually the Civil War. In my family, they were U.S. Army. So anyway, I wanted to mention that. And again, people were asking yesterday, when we say woke here on the channel, what are we talking about? When we say the military, for example, is went woke. I'm going to give you an example. I don't really know how to explain woke, but I'm going to give you an example of wokeness. So remember the whole deal with the animal crackers and how the animal crackers, they used to have bars in front of the animals, but that was offensive. And so they removed the bars from in front of these cartoon character animals to appease, 1% of the nation that was really, their feelings were hurt that these cartoon animals were behind a set of bars. This is wokeness. Beaverines, what's up, Half Acre? To me, this is wokeness. This is when, there are some legitimate issues, probably in the military and also in America, yes. But you start to go off the rails at some point, and you start to worry about nonsensical stuff. And I believe that's what wokeness is. That's my opinion anyway, my definition. And I think our military has been worrying about stuff that doesn't really matter all that much, and they should be concentrating on warfare. And this is why we're getting beat down in simulated exercises as of late. So the problem here is that our adversaries, our rivals, if you will, the other superpowers like China and Russia, they are not worried about wokeness. They are, in fact, keying in on the important things. So Russia, formerly the USSR, they, Sage News, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I would argue that they are the same mindset they were when they were the Soviet Union, okay? They have not been weakened all that much when it comes to the military. However, the United States, since the fall of the Soviet Union, has changed drastically, again, I would argue for the worse. We're getting weaker. We're getting weaker, and at some point we're going to be overtaken. And so this leads me to the comment that I got yesterday that had me up again. I was up in the middle of the night out smoking a Churchill trying to war game this in my head. Yesterday we were talking about China and swamp bottom living. Okay, thank you very much. We were talking about China and how it is warning people, not only companies, but also the residents have heard about it, the citizens over there, whatever you want to call them. And now there's panic going on in China. And somebody left this comment yesterday and I hadn't considered it. What if China is actually planning an invasion of Taiwan this winter? And what if they have enough, but they're diverting that toward a war effort? Because this is really bad news if that's the case. China and Russia together have been wargaming. North Korea's been there, here and there. But China and Russia really have withdrawn themselves from the other superpower nations. They're not too much into UN. They're not too much into NATO. The climate conference that they just had, they weren't there. They don't care anymore. They're doing their own thing. And they're building this superpower of armies. And it is very possible. When I stopped to think about it, I saw that comment. I said, oh my God, I haven't even considered that. What if they already know we're going into Taiwan this winter. When would you go in, right? You would go in when the other nations are down, which we are. Taiwan's allies are definitely down right now because of the C-19, and you would go in when it's the most inconvenient for allies. So imagine the U.S., for example, trying to go in and defend Taiwan in the middle of the winter when the economy is off the rails, when, Biden is in the White House. I mean, he's a weakness, I would argue. Imagine a situation where we have to go and we have to try and defend Taiwan. The supply line is a nightmare, and that's if you can protect it, and obviously they haven't learned how to protect it. Paul Jones, I agree. He says we should be doing our own thing instead of woke garbage. We should. We should be the premier fighting force in the world, and we used to be up until recently. Maybe I would argue Desert Storm was probably the last time we were an actual 100% superpower military that nobody wanted to mess with. And we've been getting weaker ever since that. Truth Seekers says, screw that. Let that place protect itself. Here's the sad part. I agree. Here's the sad part. I think they could do a better job right now of protecting their own country than we could do helping them, because they're living on their supply line. It's their land. They can dig in, they can fortify, and I don't think that they're going to be able to stop China in a full-on invasion, but they'll hold their own a lot longer, I believe, than we could over there, because we just don't have competent leadership. So as I was listening to this, woke equals the opposite of prepper nation, son. Thank you, zombie prepper. So as I was thinking about this, I said, okay, so if they're wargaming with Russia and we're wargaming out here with the British, maybe the U.S. and the British already anticipate this move. Maybe we are wargaming because we plan on getting involved, and Russia plans on getting involved, and this could quickly escalate into a global war. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news this morning, folks, but we're overdue for a world war. Throughout history, it happens every so often, and we're overdue. But this would be, I think, far worse than the Second World War, because we are sitting right now on the edge of a Great Depression. When the U.S. entered World War II, its economy was booming, up until Pearl Harbor. And, I mean, it's just not a good situation. I don't see where the U.S. comes out ahead if there's any sort of global conflict whatsoever. There's really no way for me to explain it other than you factor in we would be in a Great Depression, and you factor in that a lot of what was here was being diverted to a war effort that we would probably lose anyway. Just not good. So I'm hoping this is not the dark winter that everybody keeps talking about. I'm actually at this point hoping the lights just go out for a little while, and that's what they're talking about. But paraphrasing here, Taiwan has said recently, if China invades, we look at that as an act of war, and we're going to treat it as such. And China has replied, again paraphrasing, saying, well, we will ready our troops for war. So they are going to invade at some point. The question is, will it be this winter or not? Church of POS, that is correct. History always shows that when the economy tanks, then war breaks out. Unfortunately, war is great for the economy, at least for a little while. It will boom the economy. People will be working because they don't have a choice. OFC Nation, that is an incredible point. What if we had a global war and civil war at the same time? So I think, at least, if we have a war in Taiwan and people here are already struggling, it's not going to be a popular war. And you're going to see a lot of protest, a lot of violence because of said protests. And here's something else I was thinking about last night. And let me know what you think, OFC Nation. You're very smart on this. China is the kind of country, I believe, they will force their people to suffer if they think the U.S. is also going to have to force its people to suffer. I think their people are used to doing without. I think the average American is not used to doing without. And so that would actually, like, they would hurt themselves in order to hurt the United States, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Fender Mustang 65, thank you very much. And I appreciate that. And you can send a Mustang my way. I'll take one. But China is that way, man. I think at least they'll hurt themselves in order to hurt the United States because they really don't care about their people. They're going to do what they have to do. It's Vanta. That's correct. If we have a global war, I think what would happen was it's like a recipe. Okay, you're going to have the recipe would be half global war, half Great Depression with some revolution sprinkled in somewhere. Now that revolution could come in the form of Antifa. It could come in the form of patriots. It's hard to say. But people, I think in the United States, it would be an unpopular war and they just wouldn't sit here and do without for very long before they started rising up against what government we had at that time. Gone fishing. If we go into a World War III scenario, something here. As much as I love my country, we America will not prevail. It would not look like World War II. There would be no happy ending for us. I don't think nukes would be involved because I don't think many countries are stupid enough to use nukes knowing that they would come back on them. But honestly, the shape America's in, I don't think anybody would need to nuke it. China's very smart. Okay, we don't give them enough credit. They are very smart. If they want to defeat our military, they don't necessarily need to come here and do that. They can continue to let it get weaker and weaker, and then they can draw it out somewhere like Taiwan, and they can defeat it halfway around the world. Okay, because China has the advantage there. They're not far away. They can get supplies to their troops, whereas it would be a nightmare for us. So I think that they're smart enough to know, hey, they can defeat us somewhere else. But I just wanted to mention that this morning because I was like, it was that one comment and I just got stone-faced for a couple of minutes and I hadn't considered it. DeSantis in Florida is now dubbing Biden's administration the Brandon administration. Y'all see this? Charlie B, that's a good point. They won't nuke us. They want our farmland. Exactly. DeSantis, I mean, he said it outright, the Brandon administration. And Biden was asked about it later on, and he, rather than covering that or the election, he just went into his spill on Build Back Better. Build Back Better. Doesn't that just roll off the tongue? The Brandon administration. So no matter what now, moving forward, Biden's administration is going to be known as the Brandon administration. Oh, man. He built the Taliban back better. Didn't he, though, Sword Kata? Didn't he? He just gave them a country on a silver platter. Mame's legacy. I don't know. That would make a good poll one day. She said, am I the only one that feels sorry for the actual Brandon? You know, on one hand, he's super famous now. Even people that don't watch NASCAR knows who he is. But on the other hand, you know, it doesn't matter if he wins 100 championships, he's never going to be this famous. So, yeah, that's a good question. So this is something we need to keep an eye on, okay, folks, because this is going to snowball quickly, I assure you. The New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority, say that 3 times, are now saying they're going to offer no more death benefit payments to anybody that passes away from C-19 if they have not had the whiskey shot. So in other words, not complying with the whiskey shot is now going to cheat you out of your death benefit payment through them. And again, this is going to snowball because what happens is, I believe from here, is insurance companies, they're always trying to get out of paying people. Any way that they can find to not give somebody money, they'll use it. And so they're going to look at this and they're going to say, if this stands, they're going to say, well, we can also disqualify people. And it doesn't even have to be C-19 related. Dude fell off a roof or something. Well, he wasn't vaccinated. I shouldn't have said that word, but I did. He hasn't had the whiskey shot, therefore we're not going to pay out. And this is something to look at moving forward. Fat Man Prepper, thank you. He says, let's go Brandon. You got some fans in here. So that's not true about insurance companies. Gray Lady Prepping, please elaborate. Because the 2 or 3 people that I know in real life that have actually had to go to a car insurance company, I had a best friend, his home burned down, not to his fault. And in every single instance, insurance companies are trying to get out of paying. I've had this happen to me personally, medical insurance and stuff. They either want to pay you a lot less than they owe you, to my experience, or they try and get out of it entirely. And so, I mean, this is going on right now in New York, again, with the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. But if the wrong people see this, they're going to look at this as a money-saving measure, I think. And that's going to be the next thing. They're going to continue to come after stuff until they get total compliance. And if they see this, just Pam in Florida, thank you for that. Wow, I appreciate that. I'm seriously glad my name is not Brandon, Mojo Man says. Yeah, it used to be Karen and now it's Brandon, right? Karen used to be like the bad name or whatever. Nana P. I was an insurance agent for 25 years. Insurers don't want to pay any more than they have to. No, of course. They're going to, they're going to pay something in most cases, Nana. You're absolutely right. But they literally have people, and their job is to find a way to pay the least amount possible. They're going to throw you, to my experience, they throw a lowball offer out there to see if you'll sign off on it. And then they start looking at, was this an act of God? Was this, weather related? They try to pigeonhole their way out because that's smart business, right? Let's see here. Kevin Bontrager, hopefully I'm saying that right. Welcome to the coffee club. And yeah, I need to post something to the coffee club. So thank you for that reminder. The C-19 and not taking the whiskey shot, that is going to give some companies an out if it's allowed to stand. So I just wanted to mention that. 3 prepping items this morning. Here we go. Number 1, a compass. Everybody should have at least one compass in your bug out bag, okay, along with paper maps, but I wrote down compass. Number 2, oral hygiene. And number 3, empty pill bottles. And I got to ask, what would you do with an empty pill bottle? The first thing that comes to my mind here is super glue. I had a instance one time where I had super glue, but it was in like a Ziploc baggie. And it was thank God it was in a cheaper bug out bag, but it pretty much sacked everything in the bug out bag at that time. And that's when I learned, hey, a pill bottle would be good for this. I'm trying to find you here, Marie. I saw you pop up. John, I heard something about Facebook changing its name to Meta. Do you know what that means? Sounds suspicious. I know bits and pieces about it, Marie. Just because I don't Facebook a lot. People in chat could probably tell you more, but yeah, their stock is way down. They've been catching a lot of heat here lately because they thieve information. It's a rebranding, number 1. They're trying to get away from the name Facebook because so many people hate that name now for good reason. And then number 2, they want to create this, I don't know how they explained it, like this one-stop shop. Almost like a super Walmart. Imagine a super Walmart. Okay, so you used to go to tool stores for tools. You used to go to grocery stores for groceries. Barber shop to get your hair cut. And all this stuff. And Super Walmart smashed all of this stuff together, right? So Marie, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do this online. to where people never really have to leave what they're calling the meta universe, and then they can just constantly sap all their information. Okay. I'm trying, my computer crashed, it's rebooting, so I'm trying to watch the chat on the phone. I am sorry. A virtual reality group chat. Yeah, and they said something about avatars and all this stuff. I don't know. If it wasn't for this channel, I'd be back on a flip phone. So I'm not a huge fan of that nonsense. I think it's made the world much worse in most cases. I'm studying the chat here. Stealing and brainwashing people. Marie, I don't know if it's stealing people. People are signing up for this willingly, but it's just a huge time suck where they're going to be able to get all of your information, like your browsing habits, your shopping habits. You won't need to go to Amazon if you're on this meta universe where you can order straight through the meta universe, and then they can sell this information, put you on a list and everything. Yeah, trust is lost in Facebook. Exactly. Somebody just said trust is lost in Facebook. I don't trust them. Homestead Homeboy, I need to talk to you. Thank you very much for that. The next thing we actually have on the docket here, gas prices. Brother, it's $3.29 here, and I'm starting to see $3.39. And so I was going to ask everybody in chat, thank you for that super chat, by the way. I was going to ask everybody what gas looks like where you're at. Because $3.29 sucks. Where I'm at, that's really, really high. Now I'm starting here and there to see $3.39. So I guess that's coming up. $3.70 and rising. Wow. $3.59 in Illinois. $4.89. Where's that at? California? Okay, $3.16 in Elkin. Wow. So it's actually went down where you're at, brother? 406 here in Washington. $6. Randall White. Oh. Whoa. $6 or 6 pesos, brother? That's high, man. $6. Independent Marine, $3.29 to $3.39. That's pretty close to where we're at. It's mostly $3.39 now. It's creeping up. It's ticking up. Guam, okay. Yeah, that's high still, man. I would not want to pay that. $3.80, $3.30. So it's all over the place, it looks like. I've seen some 4 and some 5, but mostly it's somewhere in the 3s. And going up. $6 Costa Rica dollars. Gotcha. So the other piece of intel that I have down below is about the Life Straw. We had mentioned a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, I don't remember, that Life Straw had went woke. And some people said, what's the deal with Life Straw here? So I actually pinned a link directly to their website. It was a statement they had made to do with the January insurrection, and they were talking about how it was all about racism and it wasn't about patriotism. I'm paraphrasing here, but then they dumped it all, of course, in Donald Trump's lap, and they said we need better. We can't have these insurrections pop up. And so I went ahead and linked to that. Somebody here at the Nation actually showed me that because I didn't know when this first happened, and I said, well, not buying any more Life Straw products. And I'm not one of the guys out here that will normally just trash all the stuff. Some of y'all get mad, and I understand you get mad. Somebody said they burned all their Nikes when Nike went woke. I didn't burn my Nikes. I only had one pair anyway, but I just said not wearing them out anymore. I'll mow the grass in them from here on out, until they're toasted. So unfortunately, I do still have, I think, 3 Life Straws here. But when we go camping, I'll hand these off to somebody else. My computer's up. Oh my God, here we go. I'll be able to see chat again. But yeah, I mean, the whole wokeness thing and the insurrection thing, it's just nonsense. It's a narrative, you know. Did things get out of control there? Absolutely. You know, a couple of things happened that shouldn't have happened, but it's not like President Trump was spearheading this thing, number one. And number two, most of the people that were there peacefully and for the right reasons, and they've been witch hunted ever since. You know, like they're traitors, and I don't think they're traitors. This is just me. Maybe I'm wrong for thinking that. I don't know. Let's see. Scenario. Ooh, this is a good scenario this morning, folks. So they say hindsight is 2020. Oh, I got my chat back, son. Hindsight is 2020. And we were talking about a global war. What if World War III breaks out tomorrow and you just found out today? You know what I mean? Like you had one day as a prepper to prepare for World War III. As a prepper, how are you spending that day? Homestead Homeboy says beaverines. He's just going to go out in the yard and yell beaverines. Go woke, go broke. I wish. Some companies, we talked about this the other morning, they will water very good. They'll lose money for a while, and then it seems that they pick back up. Cleaning your guns, nothing wrong with that. I did not even think about that. For me, it was inventorying food and inventorying food a second time. The food was the main thing I thought of, but cleaning guns is awesome. Fat Man Prepper, bring back the Pledge of Allegiance, 10 Commandments, and personal responsibility in the world would be better. I agree. Thank you for that. I agree. I don't see how anybody can be ashamed of the flag or the Pledge of Allegiance or anything like that, the national anthem. I don't see how people are ashamed of this and still want to live here. You know, patriotism is not a bad thing. It shouldn't be a far-right ideology. It should be something that we all have in common. Calling out of work. That's a good one, Larry. Freedom seeds tomorrow. Bringing the animals inside. Buying ammo. Apparently there's going to be no ammo left if this happens. Well, for the dragons, it said you'd be spending your last day walking in your pets. It might not be your last day. If World War III were to break out, many of us would not be affected directly other than severe shortages and rationing and things like that. But I agree with y'all, I'd be strapped up at all times. What was the question? Oh my goodness. Jennifer Cruz, what was the question? Come on, Jennifer. If you found out a day early that World War III was going to break out, how would you spend that one day, ma'am? There would definitely, on my end, be some prayer involved. I'm going to go through again. I'm going to inventory. I'm probably gassing the vehicle. I'm going to double check all my bug out bags. And probably, I need to do this now, probably go into the basement and making sure that our shelter in place area is good to go. Benjamin says, digging a hole to climb in. They ain't going to let you off the hook just because you're in a hole. Seeds and livestock supplies. That's very good. Yeah, E.T. watched Revolution Episode 1. So good. Absolutely. The World Without Power. That is Revolution. It's a good TV show. Prepper Trucking. How you doing, brother? Calling and making amens. That's actually good. Call a couple of the exes up and say, look here. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Prepper Trucking would be like, I'm sorry I left you at that truck stop in Amarillo. I told you to run in and get me a hot dog, and I just ghosted you like that. Oh, man. Binge watch Jericho. Yeah, somebody emailed yesterday about Jericho, Prepper Medic, and they were asking where it was streaming. And I actually said, I have no idea. I don't know where it's streaming. We're getting to the poll, I promise. Poll's up next. So, here we go. Most likely SHTF scenario this winter. 78% of the live chat says shortages and rationing. That's, y'all took the safe bet here because we're seeing shortages now. Rationing would be either you go stand in a line or a limit, one per customer. We're already seeing that. Y'all took the easy way out. Grid down long term. I do think that's probably the most likely in certain areas here in the United States, at least. Global war is only sitting at 5%. I thought that would be higher, but I hope that we do not see that. Yes, grid down, honeybee. Jericho at Paramount Plus, Purgatory. Is that a streaming service? I have no idea what that means. I really don't know. Always pick the sure thing, Paul Jones says. that ought to be a t-shirt, Paul. Always pick the sure thing. Never take chances. Ration cards, yeah, absolutely, Don. Christopher Stewart. I'm not an expert on crypto, but do you think crypto is better than gold and silver when bugging out or crossing borders? No, absolutely not. I watched a video by Sean Ryan. He's real popular here on YouTube. I think that he was a SEAL at one time, and he always wears a Rolex. And he actually did a video similar to what you're asking, and he said, I always have a Rolex because no matter where I'm at, you know, if we get stranded, if I'm in another country and we need to exfil quickly, I can trade the Rolex for a car, you know, a little hoopty or something, and get out of there, because everybody understands Rolex. They understand it's valuable. Same thing with gold and silver as opposed to crypto. Some people are going to love crypto and they're going to say, yeah, absolutely, I'll take it. Other people are not fans of crypto. Okay, they think it's a scam. They think it holds no value. To each their own. But I'm just saying, in an SHTF, you want something that everybody sees as valuable. And that, in my opinion, would be gold and silver. Freedom seeds, perhaps. Lily B, really, I wouldn't trade a car for a Rolex. Well, he's talking about if he's, you know, if he's in combat and he's in the Philippines and somebody has a $200 Hyundai and he just needs to get out. He and his team needs to get out. He can trade a Rolex for that because people understand that's as valuable, if not more valuable, than the car I'm driving. You know what I mean? Ammo is the new gold. Wait a minute. Ammo's the new gold. It is, Matthew. Somebody put something. I don't know if it's a typo or James Jenkins. My watch is a Nolex. Did you buy it on eBay, son? Because I've seen a few Rolex knockoffs in my time. Normally, if it's spelled wrong, it's a knockoff. That's why I wear my Timex. Absolutely, Bill B. And yeah, I mean, you can carry gold and silver with you if that's your thing, but he's saying, you know, as a military operator, he wore that watch specifically for that reason. Loaf of bread for my Timex. Hey, Victoria, how are you? Romex, Holex. Oh, we're in the ditch now. Everybody's got knockoff Rolexes. I need to add that to the list of prepper items. Knockoff Rolex. Casio. Some people do that, Matthew. I don't do that. Matthew Kitchen says, I carry a Morgan silver dollar. I know people that do that just because it has value and it's part of their EDC, because it'll help them get home if they need to get home, if they get stranded somewhere. I do know people that do that. So you're not crazy for doing it. It's actually a really good idea. Benjamin James, nothing. He doesn't have a Rolex. He just using the sundial. Pocket coin. He goes outside and he's like, he licks his thumb and he's like, yep, it's 2 o'clock. Let's see here. Government shutdown. This is the last thing I've got written down here, folks. The government shutdown is scheduled for December the 3rd, and politicians now seem to be playing chicken. Pelosi and Joe Manchin, these two are, neither one of them are willing to back down, it looks like. So I want to get some thoughts on the shutdown that potentially would be December the 3rd. Is it going to happen? Are we going to be shut down? Pelosi wants paid time off for anybody that needs paid time off, and apparently never-ending paid time off. Joe Manchin, on the other hand, only wants this person to get paid time off if they're employed, and there needs to be some sort of structure. We can't pay these people forever. So that is why he has backed off of this. He doesn't want it to look like socialism or basic income or something like that. He wants it to be very short term. So if you have thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Buy your mods some coffee, Tilt and Rear. They're on top of the game. Thank you very much. And moderators, actually, my wife, Miss Nation, sometime this month is going to be reaching out to the moderators here on Facebook, because she loves Facebook. And she's going to do something for y'all. She's going to be sending something for Christmas to you guys, to you ladies, and also Matt. I have no idea what it is. I'm probably not going to be with her when she picks it out. So, and it may come, just, she may order it somewhere and just have it delivered. So I don't know. But thank you for that super chat. All right, Mojo, see you, brother. She's rich. She doesn't need paid time off, Tim. This lady has gotten rich. She basically is off all the time, and she's gotten rich. My thoughts are this. Most of the people that we have in Congress, not all, but most, not jars of sunshine, Matt, they haven't really worked many jobs in their life, and they're multimillionaires. So they really don't understand what us cronies out here, us little lackeys out here, taxpayers, have to do day to day. They don't understand. They want to project like they do understand us, but they don't. You know what I mean? They have no idea what our lives look like. Truth seekers, teach your family first aid, and battle drills will save lives. Thank you very much for that. My wife, she has to recertify every so often on CPR and first aid. And then I forget what the thing is called. It's I don't know. It has something to do with the heart. These things hang on the wall and stuff, in boxes and in schools, and then also some stores and stuff. I forget what it's called, but she knows how to use those. She's pretty good with the first aid. AED. Thank you very much, Dixie. Yeah, she knows how to do all of that stuff, and she's been trained on, because she works with special education, so she has to do certain training for like seizures and things like that. And before she got into education, she was actually nursing. So I do trust her with most of that stuff. We work well together. We pair well together, like spaghetti and wine, son. She knows how to do all of this stuff, and now she's doing her canning thing, which is awesome. And then I'm the guy out here, and I've got all the camo stuff and the bags and the boomstick, so it works. Sit up and fix your hair. Oh, how many we got in here? 1,063 people. Yeah, I got to part my hair. I actually need to let it grow out a little bit so it doesn't look as ridiculous. A long time ago, months and months ago, someone here at the Nation, they sent me a hat that looked like something a blue coat would wear during the Revolution. I mean, this thing is bossing. And I've thought about putting it out here, and when we hit 1,000 in chat, switching hats and just putting it on like we're ready for war or something. It's winter woolly up, Art Nan. What did I jump into on that one, ma'am? Kevin, my wife has canned over 400 jars so far. We haven't gotten close to that. She's been doing a lot of pickles, because I've been eating a lot of pickles, the sweet and sour. I think I will, Michelle. I think I'm going to bring it out here and, pull it out of the closet, top of the closet, and bring it out here. Of course, the new people, or the people that are just passing through, in the mornings. Maybe they catch it by mistake. They're like, what's going on here? I had somebody ask yesterday in a comment after we were live. They said, what is this beaverines? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new here. And I didn't know how to explain it. I said it's kind of like a rallying cry here at Prepper Nation that the morning crowd came up with, and it's really hard to explain the beaverines. Oh, God. The hat and the blazer. Come on, man. I don't know. I mean, I like the blazer and everything, but not to wear every time we have 1,000 up in here. Get you a weave, John. Bill, I ain't got nothing to attach it. Don't you have to attach a weave to something? I don't even have anything to attach a weave to. I would have to use Velcro or something. Randall White, that's what we're talking about. John, where's your 1776 hat? That's the hat I'm talking about. I think I'm going to bring it out here tomorrow, and I'm going to have it ready in case chat gets busy. No, James, not Aunt Bee pickles. These are really good, actually. I love the bread and butter pickles. So she'll get into me because I'll eat them, and I can actually sit down and eat an entire jar of them at one time, which is probably not good for me. Don't use Gorilla Glue. That would be a funny video, Michelle. Me trying to get my weave off. Arknan, I really don't need a wig either. Oh, man. Need a beaverines emoji. I wouldn't even know how to work that out, Ink Scars. I can switch the emojis for the folks that are in the coffee club. If there's a certain emoji you want, I can switch it out to that, but it's got to be something common and something that actually exists online. There ain't no beaverine emoji online. That's what the super glue is in the bug out bag for, John. Yeah, Bill B. And again, put that in a pill bottle or something. Do not put that in a Ziploc bag. I think it was an off-brand Ziploc bag to boot, and it just got everywhere. Homestead Homeboy, North Carolina, the wig fund. Really, guys, wigs are cheap right now. I could potentially get one on clearance right now, the Halloween section. But I don't really want to wear a wig. But thank you. My stomach is growling. Domestic Gangster. Well, hello to you. Hello, Domestic Gangster. Miss Sophia. A beaverine coffee mug. That I can do tomorrow. The shirt. We have the shirts available, but let me tell you all about this real quick. I announced they were available yesterday, and I went over there after the chat, and they had already sold out of, I think, 3X, XL, and small. Already. Teespring was sold out of these things. Those 3 sizes, so I said, what? Bald is beautiful. That's one way of putting it, Mama Jules. I heard your tummy. Yeah, my tummy, I got to eat something other than coffee. Coffee is the breakfast of champions, and the breakfast is the lunch of champions. I usually don't eat until after lunch. But now I'm hungry. Drunk Leopard, why are our governments trying to kill us? Because there are too many people on planet Earth, and they don't know how to feed all of these people. And they want to eat steak, and they want to drink wine, and they're tired of you eating steak and drinking wine. They want you to eat bugs. I really shouldn't have said that. But it's the truth, right? Thank you, David Williams. Good morning. Because they are the devil. That's another good explanation. Because these people have, the people that are pulling the strings have so much money that they like to play God. They've run out of stuff to spend their money on. U.S. Soldier for Life. Welcome to the coffee club. I got to post something over there today. I don't know what I'm going to post now. I got to figure out something. For the folks on Patreon, I'm just going to throw this out there. Next week, I'm going to try and do a separate stream over on Patreon for y'all. It's long overdue. I'm at some point, I'm going to try and get Outlaw Prepper to stream with me. But I will have to put a language warning at the beginning of that. Cricket burgers. Yeah, Lily B, that is the plan. That is the plan, and they can keep them. Paul, he says, truth, Satan is in control. He is, of all of the stuff that we see around us, all of the man-made stuff. He does seem to have control of all of that. But he's a loser. He gonna lose. Doesn't matter. No bugs. Are you sure, American Oma? Are you sure I can't convince you that you want some cockroach lasagna or something like that? Yay, roach milk. I've seen that, only one. I saw that online where they are developing a cockroach milk. And I said, nah. Amelia, check out Ice Age Farmer, please, on YouTube. Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Christians. I talk to him in chat every now and then. We ain't calling each other up or nothing, but I'm a huge fan of his. And he knows his stuff when it comes to the food and everything that's coming. Chocolate covered crickets, Benjamin. I knew that was a thing, so, you know, in other countries and stuff. Maybe I still don't want that. He is the man. Melissa, let's see here. Was that Melissa? Indeed, Ice Age. He's the man. People have asked me a couple of times, why don't you go over on Christian show? I'm like, because I would look like an idiot. This man is so much smarter than I am. I would just be writing down notes. Like, I ain't even going to say anything. He stays above the target, and he catches a lot of flack for it here at the Big G. I mean, they're always trying to deplatform the man. It seems like everywhere he goes, they're trying to shut him up. So that's when you know you're speaking the truth, right? Cajun crickets and mealworms, I will pass on that as well. Oklahoma loves Ice Age Farmer. Why couldn't he be in here in the chat getting all of this love thrown his way? Roach Raisin Trail Mix. Hard pass. Really? Terrible 3. I've eaten chocolate-covered crickets and mealworms. Prefer the mealworms. Well, I've never tried them. Nice shirt, John. Thank you. My wife bought this for me. Thank you very much. Do you follow Bear Independent? Okay, that's a good question. Jeff, thank you for the super chat. So here's the deal, okay? Down below, like on the main channel page, you're going to see a list of creators. These are probably my favorite people in the community that have channels, but there are a lot more that are not listed. I do watch Bear. I get over there about once a week, and I'll go through and I'll binge watch, you know, his videos, and also Viking Preparedness. They remind me a lot of each other. And there are other people in the community, and I'll get over like Prepper Tribe and Native. They are not listed below, but I do watch a lot of their stuff. But I lurk. Hutch Homestead is a really good channel. I usually lurk over there as well. John at the Prepared Mind, I'm a huge fan of his. But yeah, I mean, I watch a ton of content here on YouTube. Bear, I like Bear, number one, because of his charity work. And number 2, Bear is the guy. Bear and MD Creekmore are the 2 you want to go to if you want to know about firearms, in my opinion. If you have questions about firearms, you go to those 2. You know what I mean? Bear and Viking scare me to death. I wish that Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness posted more to YouTube. I think he posts mostly to Patreon now. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of his. Lulu, serious question. Which is better, bottles of water or survival water pouches? Me personally, I'm a fan of bottled water, but it's got to be in the good bottles, like the thicker walled plastic bottles, because at that point they are reusable. Bear and Viking are part of the same mag. OFC Nation did not know that. That would explain a lot, because they give off the same vibe. They present it in, you know, slightly different ways, but yeah, they give off the same vibe. So yeah, I know. American Oma, he was in here yesterday. Mr. Bull Hansen was in here yesterday, and I'm a fan of his channel here on YouTube, but also the man is a writer, and has been doing it for a long time, and I'm a huge fan of him as the writer as well. Domestic Gangster, Magic Prepper's pretty awesome too. Yes, he is. I've got him listed below, and you are listed below, Sophia. If you want to know about saving money when you grocery shop, Domestic Gangster is the one for you. If you want to hear truth, Mame's Legacy. You want a little bit of humor, Arkansas Living is down below. And of course, the canning, I'm going to refer you to Rudy at the Alaska Prepper. He's awesome. Quest Conquest. Yeah, he absolutely does. Chat stays really busy over there when I'm lurking over there live, so I normally don't say anything. I have a few times, but I'll get over there once a week, and I've missed 5 videos or something, and I'll just go through. A lot of times I'm taking notes for one of the videos we're doing in the morning, and I'm listening. That's what I was doing yesterday with Rudy at the Alaska Prepper. Blue Dog Survival. On your poll, you should have had D, all of the above option. Yeah, I should have. I didn't think about that. I'm just glad I didn't mess the poll up this morning. That was a train wreck yesterday. Yeah, Homestead Heart, Tabitha Lynn. I've actually never heard of that channel. I'll tell you what, folks, if you have another favorite channel, post it, because maybe I've not heard of it. A Canadian Prepper, two-wheel prepper. Yeah, everybody's heard of the Canadian Prepper, right? I think the Canadian Prepper, he's got so many subscribers now, it comes installed on brand new cell phones or something. People pick it up and they're just like, oh, who's the Canadian Prepper? He got a ton of fans. Suspicious Observer. See, there's another one I've not heard of. Melissa, I do like Prepper Nurse 1. He's another one that, Ed is another one that I binge watch about once a week. I'm not always there for the lives. But I promise you, many of these that you're putting down, I've not heard of. Vigilant Elite Truth Seekers. Yeah, that's Sean Ryan. We were talking about him earlier. He's the one that wears the Rolex all the time. Very smart guy. And someone that you would not want to mess with. Just saying. Adapt 2030. That sounds familiar. Maybe I've seen a video or two from them. I don't know if I'm subscribed. I need to go check on that. Patriot Nurse, yeah. We know about Patriot Nurse. Somebody last week said she was marriage material. And OFC Nation backed him up on it. I said, I think she's already married, y'all. Sutton's Days. That is a channel that I've never seen, but I continue to hear people talk about. So I need to check them out for sure. And Prepper Princess. Okay, she's... Prepper Princess focuses mainly, to my experience, what I've seen, on living cheaply. I've seen some of her stuff. I'm not knocking her stuff. It's just that I've lived cheaply my entire life. So it's kind of already my lifestyle, you know. Appalachian Homestead. Arkansas Living, of course, Jennifer, yeah. Alaskan Granny, that is another channel that somebody just put. Alaskan Granny. She, man, she's super popular. And that's probably for a very good reason. Randall White John, Gray Man Prepper. We've done a few streams. It's been a long time, but we've co-streamed a few times. Thank you, Meg. Thank you for that, Meg Kennedy. Well, folks, I'm going to head off. I'm going to shame y'all before I do, though. You ready for this? People always comment after the live stream is done, and they're like, sorry I missed the live. Sorry I missed the live. I shot a thumbs up. The people that are watching after the fact have been thumping the live crowd when it comes to thumbs up. I'm just saying. So just some food for thought. They have been destroying y'all's number of thumbs up. William Smith, thank you very much. And I'm not, what is that, like a blue avocado or something? I don't know what it is, but thank you very much for that. But I appreciate everybody being here this morning. Before you leave, drop a comment. Let me know what you'd like to talk about tomorrow, okay? We may cover it tomorrow. I may go through and just write a bunch down, and we may cover it sometime next week. But we'll eventually get to it, okay? I appreciate everybody being here. God bless y'all. I got to go find something to eat. I'm dying here, son. My stomach's rolling. But I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Homestead Homeboy, thank you, man. What are you doing?